Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 1v1 Warhammer battle. This is going to be the Beastmen versus Empire. This is about a minute or so into the fight. I initially deployed right here. You can see I kind of forgot to bring up my shaman. And the enemy is deploying right there. So for my army, we have a British Shaman of Beasts. We have 4 Ungor Spears, a Bestigor Herd being led by Morgor, and then of course the 2 Gorbals. I also have 2 Harpies on the flanks, a Direwolf that was Vanguard, or sorry, Chaos Warhound that was Vanguard deployed, and then also I have a Vanguard stalking force of 2 Ungor herds and then 2 Ungor raiders. So right now my plan is to move from my line here and get over here, and then just kind of stall for time to allow my Vanguard force to get all the way behind the enemy like this, so that we can hit them from 2 different sides. So I'm kind of delaying. My enemy has in total 2 Demigryph Knights with halberds, one right there and then one way over here. Then the main line is going to be made up of 4 spearmen. We have the Sigmar Sons, the Tattersouls, a steam tank front and center. Behind them we have 2 crossbows, Karl Franz on a horse, and then a light wizard, also one more swordsman on the flank. The steam tank is going to be firing at an assortment of people. I think they took a shot at my Ungor spears, and I think they're also going to be shooting at my Centaurs for a little while before I even notice what they're doing, unfortunately. And we can actually fast forward here just a little bit. I'm going to be moving my Harpies into position to try and attack. These Harpies are going to move right there. And then these Harpies over here, you can see they got a little too close. And I wasn't paying attention to the crossbowmen. I'm right now trying to get in range to do the flock. Actually, I'm sorry. I already did a Flock of Doom. My bad. We did 1 Flock of Doom in the center. I kind of missed that. Whoops. And my Harpies got too close, so the crossbowmen did some damage to them, so I'm going to pull them back. And the enemy is recognizing that I do have Chaos Warhounds over here, so they're going to be sitting there, Demigryph Knights over there, so I'm going to try and outrun them and go over this way, pull them back. Meanwhile, again, I'm stalling for time to get our forces into position, which they are almost in position. You can see actually this fight's kind of quick, as, I mean, Beastmen fights usually are when they get down and dirty. Because Beastmen are a rush faction. It's going to go either one way or the other. I guess every battle goes one way or the other. You know what I'm saying. It's fast. Anyway, the Demigryph Knights do catch my Warhounds very briefly, but then the enemy is going to pull them back, I assume, seeing that I am starting to charge their main formation. Another Flock of Doom went down, catching the crossbowmen and some of the spears, and we are going to have a net of Ammontok going down from the Light Wizard here very soon on these units, I think. At some point. There it goes. So they're going to be netting my 2 Gorbals, which is a good call. I probably should have had them separate. Right now I'm going to be moving in my Harpies over here to try and deal with these crossbows, which are kind of extended out on the flanks. I'm also micromanaging our Vanguard force to get in behind here. I want to assign the archers to hit the Demigryph Knights with halberds to try and get some damage on them before they recognize that I'm back there. Going to get these Harpies over here, and I think I'll try and have them attack, I want to say the crossbowmen, but I think they get caught up with the Demigryph Knights as well. These 2 Gorbals are eventually going to be re-microed here in just a moment, along with the Brave Shaman is going to be moved up. But you see now the main line is being met here. We have Spearman on Spearman. Bestigor is going to be able to destroy their Spearman pretty easily. And then they are trying to kill Morgor, the Shadowgrave, with a group of Spearmen and Karl Franz. But Morgor is very tanky, so I'm not too worried about it. You see my Harpies are taking care of the 1 crossbowman back there. We're starting to get some hits on the Ungor, from the Ungor Raiders, sorry, onto these Demigryph Knights. And then we're going to engage these Tattersouls with our Ungor herd right there. I think we're going to give support eventually, but this Ungor herd is going to, I think, go and fight these Demigryph Knights. I'm also now going to be pulling up our Centaurs, because I forgot about them, along with the Direwolves, and the Centaurs is going to be going right into the Demigryph Knights over here. Again, Morgor is currently taking Karl Franz, and I summoned a group of Chaos Spawn to try and assist against the Spearmen and Karl Franz. Bestigor has murdered the Spearmen because they were just Spearmen, and then again, the Harpies kind of got caught on the Demigryph Knights, so they are going to be murdered. And right now, I'm going to switch the fire of the Ungor herd onto the Tattersouls, because they have no shields and very low armor, so they're going to be taking a lot of damage from these Ungor herd. Meanwhile, my 2 Gorbals are going to be going after Karl Franz along with Morgor, and you can see the tide is turned against Spearman and Karl Franz because of the Chaos Spawn that we have summoned along with the 2 Gorbals now that they're no longer netted, and they're going to be dealing so much damage to Karl Franz. Meanwhile, the Centaurs are going to run through these Spearmen. I did do a charge, so they got some damage on them. They're going to run through and try and rear charge. These Demigryph Knights are now currently engaging with the Ungor herd, and then I believe I'm going to switch these Ungor Raiders to shoot at the Demigryph Knights as well. We have another net of Ammontok. These Wolves were going to go through and get these Chaos, but they were snagged by the Light Wizard. But you can see Karl Franz is now going down, so I'm going to be getting our Gorbals onto the Light Wizard. I'm just ignoring the Steam Tank because I'm not really too concerned with the Steam Tank at this point. It does have terror, but it's not really going to be able to terrify my my Gorbals at this point. Their leadership is too high, so I'm not too concerned. And again, my Ungor herd here, backed up by the Centaurs who did a rear charge on the Demigryph Knights, were actually able to destroy them because the Demigryph Knights did not get a charge off of this, on the Centaur herd, or yeah, Centaurs. So they could do pretty well if they don't get charged. My Dire Wolves, which keep calling them direwolves. My Chaos Warhounds that are now free are going to charge crossbows, and that is going to be when the enemy is going to withdraw from the battle. Again, Beastman battle is usually quick and simple, either one way or the other. You win or you lose. Now, they still did have basically a whole group of Demigryph Knights up here that I believe were mostly healthy, that were getting into my Ungor Spearmen. And then they still did have a full health steam tank, which could have done some work. The Light Wizard, I believe, just fell or was about to fall to my Gorbals. I don't know if they left the battle a little too early. I mean, you could do a lot of work with a steam tank and Demigryph Knights. Potentially. You can, but in any case, good game to my opponent, and let's take a look at the kill count here. Pretty even kills across the board. Spearmen on Spearmen, you're going to get a lot of kills. The best scorers did really well. The Harpies kind of did okay. This group got destroyed by the Demigryph Knights, but this one was able to do a lot of damage to the crossbows because they were kind of left alone on the flank right there. They were really not supported too well, so we kind of just took them out. And let's see, the Gorbals got 1 kill each. One of those is probably Carl-Franz. Morgor was able to tank Carl-Franz for a long time because, again, he's very tanky. And then the Centaurs kind of came up a little late because I did forget about them for the first minute or so of the battle because I had them pulled back way far back. But then they came through and helped me destroy the Demigryph Knights. For the Empire player here, 20 kills on the Light Wizard is really good. The Sigmar Sons, 92 kills is great. The Tattersouls would have most likely been able to destroy both Ungor herds if I was not destroying them with the Ungor Raiders. You can see the Raiders here. They were mostly only firing into the Tattersouls, so they got a ton of kills against them, and then also some damage on the Demigryph Knights with halberds. The Steam Tank did net at 38 kills, and then the Demigryph Knights both got a decent amount of kills, I think. And this one, of course, would have got a lot more had the fight continued on for a little bit longer. So that's going to be a very quick battle with the Beastmen. That's it. Thanks for watching. Let's take a look at a cinematic view of Morgor versus Carl-Franz and his Light Wizard. Actually, since that battle was so quick, let me just show you another one that I did. I wasn't sure if I was going to show it or not, but it's kind of interesting because this opponent decided to spend a lot of money on Hawk Riders against my Beastman army. So they have 6 Hawk Riders and then a very dense formation of 2 Treekin, 2 Triads, multiple Eternal Guards with shields, and then a Glade Guard backed up by the, or led by the Glade Lord. I think it's the female Glade Lord? Yeah, female Glade Lord. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. This army is 2 Gorbals, Morgor the Shadowgave, Bray Shaman of the Beasts. We have 2 Bestigors, multiple Spearmen, and a group of Harpies. And that's all I got there. But yeah, I just wanted you to see. Oh, also a group of Gore Herds. I never bring Gore Herds. That's a lot of Hawk Riders, man. So I thought this was going to be an interesting battle just to see if a bunch of Hawk Riders have the capabilities of turning the tide of battle. So we're going to get a charge in here. My Minotaur's Great Weapons got a little ahead of the rest of the army. I wanted them to engage before they got there. But this is going to be a pretty simple strategy. We're going to be doing Flock of Dooms. I think I just got enough mana or Winds of Magic to do it because the starting Winds of Magic for this one was like 4. So it took me a little while to get the necessary amount. And then we're just going to kind of surround the army. You can see we're pulling up on the flanks. We're going to hit the Treekin hard with my 2 Gorbals and my Minotaur with great weapons along with Morgor the Shadowgave. And all that anti-armor is going to be able to chew through the very defensively focused Treekin. Meanwhile, the Hawk Riders, I think, are all firing at my Harpies, which is an odd choice. Maybe some of them are firing into the Ungor Spearmen. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, at this point, we're just going to kind of charge, do a complete surround. We're going to get on their Glade Guard, and you can see there's really not much micromanaging of this army, which is why I wasn't initially going to show it. But again, the other battle was just so short, and I thought this was at the very least, a unique build of a bunch of Hawk Riders. They may have been able to do more with it had, I don't know, these Eternal Guards with shields been microed a little bit, but they're just dying to massive amounts of Flock of Doom. And so the goal in this type of battle, since they've invested so much in the Air Force, is to route everything off the field so that they are forced to land or route in a turn. But you can see the Minotaurs with great weapons, which I brought specifically to kill Treekin and Ancient Treemen, have done their job really well, and they are routing the 2 Treekin, sorry, pretty quickly. And then the Ungor Spearmen, along with Morgor and the Bestigors, is just going to be able to just totally destroy the Eternal Guard, because they've taken 2 full hits of Flock of Dooms. Again, they were not ever really microed. This opponent was definitely microing all of their Air Force and focusing on that alone for the most part. But at the very least, against a Beastman army, you're probably going to be facing off against Flock of Doom. So you want to probably have your armies spread out a lot to try and minimize the amount of damage that's going to do. just, you know, just be on the lookout for Flock of Dooms. This army was very, very susceptible to it. At least the ground part of the army. I do hit the flying force a couple times, I think, with the Flock of Doom as well. But here we go, another Flock of Doom going down. We're going to be finishing up the Dryads, and now all of our Minotaurs are on the Glade Lord, so she is not long for this world. And this is going to be basically a victory. But for the most part, the only thing that's been doing damage to me has been really just the Hawks, and that's it. But I'll be curious to see the strategy with the Hawk Riders doing rear charges, because in melee, these Hawk Riders have a very high armor-piercing damage, and with their charge bonus, they can get a lot of hits off, but you definitely have to kind of babysit them and make them cycle charging a lot to get the full use out of them. But this player mostly just used them for their archery capabilities, which is okay, but that's, like, you really kind of have to use them to their full potential to get the amount of money, or their money's worth. So right here, I actually, because they're about to rout in full, I think this is a newer player, so I had to type to them. I said, you have to land your units or else you're going to rout, because all you have left is flying. Because in this time, I chased everything off of the field, so if you do that, and then you only have flying left, then your flying units will eventually rout. So they do try and get a charge at the very, very end, but it's not going to be enough. But again, an interesting build focusing on Hawk Riders. I may try this type of build, a high amount of Hawk Riders, and just try and do rear charges, because the way I would do this is have the Eternal Guard, and sure, you can throw Dryads in there for fear if you want, to have them in a long line, and then basically line these guys up behind my army, wait for the enemy, like the lines to clash, and then just charge all these guys in the rear of all of my infantry. And that's going to cause a lot of damage from the, I think at least, from the Hawk Riders. And then you got to kind of cycle charge them over and over again, and it could work. I never really thought to build an army focused on Hawk Riders like this many, but it could work in theory. I like the idea of it. But anyway, I just wanted to show it off quickly because, well, my other Beastman game was pretty short. But let's get back to the first game, and we'll watch the cinematic view of that one. But again, this is an interesting build. I'd be kind of curious to try it out myself. You can see the amount of damage their steam tank actually did to my Centaurs before I realized what the hell was going on, because I was too busy microing like my Harpies away from the crossbows. I was trying to make sure that these Harpies weren't going to get close enough, because I could see these crossbows moving out, and then I was also moving these guys over and over and over again, because I was originally going to strike from this side. But anyway, the steam tank did do a lot of damage to my Centaurs, which is why I originally hit them behind this hill. Steam tanks are potentially pretty cool, but you kind of have to use their terror, and a lot of players don't. Like, they won't rush them into melee, they just want to use the main gun on it, but it is devastating in melee if you get a terror effect off on, like, especially these Ungor Spearmen. Potentially devastating. I was trying to catch these Demigryph Knights with my spears, by the way. This is a very staggered charge right here. Holy shit. Morgor ate that in the face. Yeah, this is a very disorganized charge. Not my best. Tatter Souls. And then the Gorbals came. Carl was having fun up to that point. Yeah, these Tattersouls, man. 2 Ungor Raiders are shooting their flanks. That's not a good day for them. And the Centaurs, man, they can really deal a lot of damage. It's just if they get charged by Demigryph Knights with halberds, then they fall really quickly. But if you can tie them up, like with harpies or wolves or something, you know, you can do some work. And that's going to be it. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the 2 games, and I may end up pulling out that Wood Elf build. I'll try out that Hawk Rider thing. Not sure if it'd work. It probably could work against certain armies. Maybe like Beastmen. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. Take care, everybody.